Hello there, welcome to another great episode of People Talk Show with me, Kevin Oloch. And I'm telling you, it is only on this show that we bring great men in our society, not because of maybe you see them or maybe you watch them before, but because of the great things that they do in where they live or in our society as large. Now today, our guest is, I would say, is a fiery man. Personally, I would say he's a fiery man. It's a no-nonsense. He says, he speaks it as it comes. You take it or leave it, that is what he says. He believes in what Malcolm X says, that if you don't stand for something, then you may fall for nothing. He was born in Bududa. He's a 55-year-old man with a vigor. He's none other than Dr. David Matsanga. What is that name?
Nyekorach Matsanga. Yes.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You told me, what does Nyekorach mean?
It means I don't have envy, no fitina on anybody.
Hakuna fitina.
Hakuna fitina na mtu.
And apparently people think uko na fitina na watu wengi sana.
Hapana, si watu wako na fitina na mimi lakini sina fitina na hawa. Yes.
You just stand for what you believe and you say
yes,
as it is.
Yes, and I've been propelled by the truth.
Yes.
And knowing that the truth will one day set me free, because this is exactly what I said 5 years in Kenya.
Right.
Until it culminated into AU resolution again.
Awesome. Welcome to People Talk Show.
Yes.
And first of all, tell us shortly, you're born in Bududa.
Yes.
Tell us more about your background. Tell us where you come from.
Yes, I was born in Uganda in 1955, I've stated.
Yes.
I went to school in Uganda for my senior secondary school and left Uganda and I worked. I briefly went to Tanzania as a younger man in 1979 to fight in a liberation war.
Yeah.
And we came back to power in 1980 with Dr. Milton Obote and the Uganda People's Congress. I became the youth winger, the leader of the youth from 1980 to 1985.
Was that a ministry or what was it?
Yes, in the President's office.
It was a ministry.
It was a directorate in the President's office.
All right.
In charge. You know, when we had just come out of Idi Amin, there was no intelligence system, there was nothing. So we took up as the youth who had come out from a post-Amin era to look after the intelligence, while the president and the government was training intelligence officers.
Right.
So I became a national youth leader for the Uganda People's Congress Party, which is a very honorable position that I held until we were overthrown in 1985, 27th July, Saturday. Is when I left Uganda together with Dr. Milton Obote. We came to Buhungu Stadium in Kakamega, where we are disarmed. And some of us decided to go to Zambia, Tanzania. I stuck in Nairobi because I knew a few people. Elijah Mwangale was then the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
He gave us some places to stay. So I stuck in Kenya until I got into the politics of Uganda, of fighting to go back home, because at that age, in 1985, I was a young guy at the age of about 29.
That was pretty young.
Yes.
Tell me, what do you think made you to be overthrown by Museveni?
Our own soldiers turned on us. A section of the people, they turned on President Obote. The Acholi and the Langi had a fight. Yeah. And this fight culminated in all of us, especially my district, which actually supported President Obote, and the Bagisu have been supporting Obote since. But
you were the leader of the youth by that time. Don't you think you failed?
We did. There were some things we failed. But we are also being fought by an insurgence. If an insurgence is created in your backyard, more so near the capital, Kampala, it was very difficult for us to fight back. Because our soldiers, we had just come out of Amin, it was a post-Amin era. We were doing reconstruction of the country. There was massive corruption. There was massive intrigue. There was massive human rights abuses. Definitely, this all culminated into some section of people wanting power, which repeats itself in Uganda. You can see at the moment there is also a lot of problems within the army itself.
That's true.
Yes, the army.
So you came to Nairobi, you lived in
Nairobi. And in 1987, I think the situation became worse when we actually invaded Uganda from Kenya, and most of our people were arrested.
Yeah.
And we fled to other places. When we came back, I think President Moi directed that all of us leaders of the Uganda People's Front, which was fighting in Eastern Province, should be arrested and deported back to Uganda. And President Museveni also had said he had some 7 more Kenya people, key of them being Raila Odinga and others,
yes,
who had there's Wamwere, who had been actually picked from somewhere.
So how did you survive? Were you deported back also?
No, I went. I went to London
right,
to seek asylum because I saw no African country that could where we could be safe.
Okay.
Because Tanzania had already worked out a place where them. Zambia was another long place. I'd been in exile with my other friends in Tanzania before I knew what life was. I decided to go to London. And when I reached London, I declared myself as a person who has no state, stateless. The British government gave me asylum from 1987.
You call yourself an Africanist. What makes you call yourself an Africanist?
Because I stand for the values of Africa. I have stood for the values of Africa, knowing very well that there are certain things. My organization in London, I'm based in London. My family, by the way, I didn't tell you, I'm a married person with 8 children.
Yeah.
My first wife was killed. She died in the skirmishes in Uganda, and I was left with the first 5 children, and then I got another 3 children while in exile.
Yeah.
And these children are big grown-ups from 32 up to 14, the last born today, Audrey.
So that's why you say you have grown-ups around the world.
Yes, I have. Oh, yes, they are there.
Yeah.
Some have studied at universities, master's degree. They speak better English than myself.
Yes.
And I have grandchildren also, 6 of them. The girls in London, some of them, when I became harsh, they said, Dad, please, this is a different scenario. So I left it out. So I have 6 good grandchildren in London. And I think I've made my contribution to life. And then when we came to London, I stayed, there was one party state in Uganda. And I had to say, what do I do to get my people multi-party system, multi-party democracy, the democracy that every human being that Abraham Lincoln wanted, pitting ambition against ambition,
yes,
and which we succeeded. The moment that succeeded, I had no option but to say, oh yes, we have brought UPCs back, DPs back, let the parties fight.
Let me ask you, talking about you creating multipartyism in Uganda, right now we still have Museveni ruling over Uganda for a very long time.
Yes.
Why would you say he's still there? Do Ugandan people love Museveni, or it's something different?
You see, the Uganda scenario is that President Museveni has created his own voting pattern. This guy, the president, has got the people who were born in 1985 today are 27 years old. That's already a voting bloc. So they don't know Mathanga.
Yes.
They don't know Obote. They don't know Idi Amin. They read about us historical. So part of why Museveni wins an election, he doesn't even rig.
He wins it just like that.
Because there's a middle class voting for him. This guy is only know His Excellency President Museveni.
But you think he's not the right person for Uganda?
I can't say he's dead. Look, there are things that he has done which are very good for Uganda. I differ with some of my opposition leaders who say his things are very bad. No, there are good things that Museveni has done. But again, there are bad things that he's doing or which he has done, which we need now as a country. I'm a peacemaker. I'm a conflict resolution expert in my heart and a peacemaker by God.
Yes.
I wouldn't like to say we destroy, then bring what? Tell me, bring what? Let's build it from here. Part of my strategy is to mold from where Museveni has stopped. And part of my strategy, which I will achieve one day, is to take over from where he has stopped. Instead of this saying we destroy, he has made some things. There are some, yes, there's corruption. It's massive. We need to help him to tackle this scourge of corruption.
People think Museveni, he's this tough guy who's kind of dictator because he doesn't give room for anybody to challenge him. If you try to challenge him...
There is a possibility, yes, because every leader in Africa has that problem of not wanting to be challenged. But the manner in which you challenge the leadership is very important. Part of the problems that we have in African democracies. I've studied political science to a level that if you want to compete, we can write an exam. But let's do this. Part of the problems of African or democracy is that people don't criticize constructively.
So it means these are the opposition leader in Uganda. What is his name?
Dr. Besigye?
Besigye.
Yes.
What is it not getting?
He's fighting for an overhaul of a system which is impossible.
So he will never succeed in taking Museveni out of
How can you overhaul a system which you yourself made? Besigye made the system. People think Besigye is a hero in Uganda politics. No. Besigye was part of the system that oppressed Matanga and the rest. We left Uganda because Besigye was a minister of state.
So he's trying to turn out against his own house.
Our house,
that will not
which
really
he destroyed,
work.
which he put the rules that are catching Besigye. No walk, no this, don't give house arrest. It is him who made them. And then people outside don't know this history. One of the problems that Africa has is that people forget history very easily. I've seen, even in Kenya here, I've seen people forget that 5 years ago, they were told Ocampo was coming. Be prepared, this guy will create new problems.
Yes.
I said it on Jeff Koinange studio and other places. And I warned them because I had seen this guy operate somewhere in Uganda.
No, let me ask you. Since you're saying that Africans still they don't know how to work out things.
Yes.
Like for example, you have Besigye who wants to go against the whole thing that he created.
Yes.
Now, when you have some people like Ocampo and the ICC, the international world,
yes,
do you think you need them?
You don't need Ocampo for a case of. Let me tell you the case of Uganda. We refused Ocampo. I was negotiating the peace talks in Uganda and Juba between the government and the LRA. I stood in for the Lord Resistance Army because they could not appear in public. The EU and the UN and the AU asked me to represent them on table.
Didn't you think you're going to be victimized for that?
Well, I have been victimized, but I was not a combatant. Therefore, I'm a free guy. I did not participate in. I was called. I have letters from the EU, AU, United Nations, President Museveni himself, that I have them here. I have them with me in my house to say, please, come and take part in the peace process. It was an internationally recognized peace process, not a backdoor process. Or you are dealing, because Kony is a terrorist.
Yes.
He's a well-known international terrorist. For you to have access to him, you need permission from the UN. And the UN gave us helicopters to go. Matanga, I have no helicopter.
So what does he think of you? What does Kony think of you?
Nothing. I did what he wanted. I brought a message back to President Museveni and told President Museveni that this is what Kony wants. He has 85 children. He wants his children to go back to Uganda. He wants them resettled, taken to schools, and a fund set for these children. That was all. And on 14th of December, for the first time, I entered Uganda after how many years? From 1985 to 2008. That's when I saw my mother for the first time. I had not seen her. She's still alive. Because she's a mother of Mothers Union. She doesn't want to fly around the world to run. She had to look after the children when our father died.
Yes.
So I brought that peace process. I made sure that the Kony crosses from Eastern Equatoria to Western Equatoria, where I saved the Sudan current nation.
You are a conflict resolution expert.
Yes.
The same to Kofi Annan.
Yes.
But you're not always in good terms with Kofi Annan.
No, Kofi Annan is a traitor.
What makes him a traitor?
I'm not a traitor. He is a traitor. You cannot negotiate the Kenyan conflict and take an envelope.
Which you think had other names.
Oh, yeah. You cannot come to negotiate. I mean, when you have come to negotiate, you are mediating. You are a mediator. You are given by God His will to mediate. To be told that you are a mediator, it means you don't take sides. Kofi Annan in the Kenyan conflict took sides. Why did Kofi Annan negotiate, heal the wound, pick, then rip it off, take an envelope, come 2 months ago, I passed, you say now the gun is on you. You have just negotiated an agreement.
But looking
a power sharing agreement.
Looking at the situation in Kenya at that time,
yes,
he succeeded. We must say that.
To some extent, it was short-term success. The long term, he didn't. That's why we are grappling with this. Mm-hmm. He put another, you see, don't forget, in the formation of ICC by the United Nations Security Council was Kofi Annan. Mm-hmm. Kofi Annan has got a Kofi Annan Foundation that takes proceeds from conflict. For every day Kofi Annan was negotiating the Kenyan situation, he was being paid $76,000 per day.
Whoa.
I've investigated. I'm a senior investigative journalist. That's how I managed to penetrate a liar witness like James Kabun Maina. Mm-hmm. I found him lying on Facebook.
Was that the witness who was against
Number 4, OTP4.
Yeah, OTP4 for the case.
The famous OTP4.
For the case in the ICC.
Yes, until he said, I'm sorry. How can a witness be on Facebook?
Just before we continue with the other issue, tell me about the OTP4. How is the ICC taking this issue? Because you wrote to them saying that they should...
They terminated the proceedings. I defeated them.
So are we trying to say
I would have brought you a letter.
So are we trying to say that ICC finally means nothing?
Yes, it's nothing. As far the ICC is a good institution, but the office of the chief prosecutor, I want Kenyans and whoever is listening worldwide, the office of the chief prosecutor has dented the image of ICC. They have showed the ways of investigating. If I tell you the situation in Kenya here, they only spend 12 days. Do you know, can I tell you something that will shock you?
Tell me, sir.
Look here.
Tell me.
1,300 people died.
Yes.
ICC has no death certificate for one. No. This is shocking. The victims, the relatives of these people should stand up and ask, where are the death certificates? If you say the killing was by gun, you must describe the millimeter gun which bullet went in, isn't it?
But
that's how to prove a case.
At times, Stephen Wesanga, it can be very hard for you to consider all those things because the format of killing or the forms of killing were not the same.
No, but people, now the charge sheet, whether it is what is malaria, whether it is what, you have got to produce international law. I'm talking from the lawyers.
They were not there when people were being killed.
Yes, the lawyers came, the investigators came to Nairobi to do what? For sunshine? To go to Mutula Kilonzo, let Mutula Kilonzo's farm to look after animals? They came here to look for evidence, forensic evidence, not hearsay, not in talk shows of in bar. No, they came here to find or watch, did you kill or not? Mm-hmm. And for every human being in the world, he has one thing. Birth certificate.
Yes.
Marriage certificate. And?
Death certificate.
If Matsanga dies here in this studio, you can't just come and carry my body into London. By the way, I've said I will be buried there, not there. So okay. You can't just carry my body into London without a death certificate. Yeah. Ocampo did not get 1,300 death certificates from the city mortuary, from Nakuru mortuary, from Naivasha, from everywhere.
Ocampo is the one who started this investigation in Kenya.
Yes.
Right now we are having Fatou Bensouda.
Yes.
Should we expect any change?
She should have changed the strategy. That's why she's finding herself in problems. She has no witness. All witnesses are running off. Because
why are they running?
Do you know what?
Why are they running? They were there.
They were promised, induced. They were induced with a house in London, a house in Lisbon, a house in Stockholm. Money. I know, I don't want to mention the names of other people here who cannot defend themselves on the show. I wish they were here so that we can finish.
They could never talk.
Yes, we can finish with them. Mm-hmm. But you are going to see very many Kenyans, some of them, you ask, hey, where is he? He has gone, he's a witness. Because they teamed up a political game. They created a political circus by trying to frame people. The framing of these people has now resulted in 2 cases collapsing. Maina Kabutu himself, OTP4, was never in the State House.
Was this thing done from the African side influencing the ICC? Or
Some they corroborated.
It is the Western.
I don't want to mention the corroborators here. There are many. I know them.
So it is from Africa.
Yes, most of them are from your Kenyan elite, political opposition elite. They corroborated with Kofi Annan, who is the master player up to now in London and in Geneva and where and Hague. Kofi Annan is the master player. That is why Kofi Annan could not come for the swearing-in ceremony of Uhuru Kenyatta, because he said Uhuru Kenyatta should not stand for presidency, because he had already determined his plan. Up to now, he has determined his plan. Don't you see where the problem is coming from?
Yes.
Look at it. Concurrently, the word, you are an English reader.
Yes.
Very nicely.
Yes.
When they say the cases will run concurrently, don't you Kenyans think of what is going to happen? Two of your people?
At the same time in The Hague?
Yes. Tuesday, Wednesday. 10 days. Constitution of Kenya, what does it say? If the commander of the chief...
One should be there, either the deputy or
if the commander of chief is absent for how many days? Look at the Constitution of Kenya, have it in head. What do? The Senate moves a motion. And that's what...
So we may get ourselves into problems at the end of the day.
You are going to... They want you to have a chaos. When they say now they have turned two courts, Besuda is going to say this. And watch my words. Call me back here. Because I believe this radio is a Christian radio.
We will.
I'm a Christian. I was baptized in 1955. Longer than some people. You will call me back here.
We will.
If their case is concurrent, it means Ruto's case 1, Uhuru case 2. They are going to announce the same day that come. We have now enough court judges to take you on. If people think, I've seen people writing in these papers that Netherlands has got to abide by international law. Ask me, where in the Roma Statute is there an article which says you can try a person, a suspect in absentia?
Of the person himself?
Yes. Is it there? You have to be present.
Maybe I guess
otherwise, Konyi would have been tried in absentia. Otherwise, Bashir would have been tried in absentia. So let people, these few lawyers who have got 1 degree confusing people here, please, don't. Let them be honest and tell Kenyans there is a problem. You Kenyans must weigh. Your president is going to be airlifted. A vice president is going to be airlifted. You have just come out of a bruising election.
Yes.
You have healed. There was no stone thrown this time in the Rift Valley.
Maybe as you're putting it, when African leaders use the international world to come against we own Africans, what do we make of African countries?
I think we have...
What do you make of African leaders?
If I were in power in Africa, the first thing is for any signature of this nature, I would check first. I wouldn't allow myself to sign something that would bring my people to disrepute. America refused. America is not a signatory. But the American government is the one saying, Obama, Kerry are saying, you hey, come 9th of July, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta climbed the Airbus from Jomo Kenyatta Airport to land in The Hague. I was in The Hague, and I want to tell you frankly on this program, I know the hotel that they want to house these people. They have prepared it. They have prepared it. I've taken photographs of that hotel.
Dr. David Matsanga, just hold it right there.
Yes.
We are taking a break. Today we are here with Dr. David Matsanga. He's coming out very clear on these issues of leadership and in Africa and ICC. We are taking a short break. You just can't miss this. Don't go away. Welcome back to People Talk Show, and today we are having Dr. David Matsanga. He's an investigative journalist and he's an Africanist, and he's just the man who speaks out as it comes and says it as it comes. And he says whether take it or leave it. Today we are here with him in the studio. We are talking about, you're saying that there are people with houses in hotels in ICC?
Oh yes. I was in ICC one in The Hague 2 weeks ago. I did not go in the court. I went to investigate. What is the government of Netherlands? What is going on? There is a hotel, a 5-star hotel that has And I've written, and it's true, I did brief Museveni about it. The government of Uganda, I said there is a plan, a very serious plan, that once President Uhuru Kenyatta arrives and his counterpart arrive, they will not be taken to the normal custody. They will be taken to the hotel. I know the hotel. I won't disclose for the sake of my sources.
Yeah.
In Netherlands, but this hotel is there. The government of Netherlands has been asked for extra security from the ICC. So that means these guys have already prepared for this trial to take off.
Dr. David,
yes.
Just before the elections in Kenya,
yes,
you never thought that you were going to have a round one win.
Yes, I did. For me.
You never thought?
For me, I knew there was a one round. I insisted, and I told it. I think you have followed my my website. I told people this will be one round because of the numbers. Anybody who has studied political science would know the numbers. If these two major tribes everywhere in African politics, major tribes win an election, what does the Shona,
what does this
the Zulu,
what does this make of Kenyans?
The Ashanti. No, wait. Let's remove this tyrant of number issue. The Ashanti in Ghana, the Igbo in Nigeria. If they are not your side, you don't win an election.
You're done.
Yeah, Baganda in my country. Yes, they are tyrant of numbers. This thing does happen everywhere.
So
the only problem is that if you misuse the tyrant of numbers against the other smaller tribes, that's very wrong. People who harass Mutahi Nguni are people either who have not gone halfway to school or they did not reach the school. And that causes a problem. Either you go in the school completely or you don't. You remain without. Because the tyrant of numbers always wins an election, in any election.
You have said something, that when you use the tyranny of numbers to subdue the other small tribes, that is wrong.
No, not to subdue. You don't subdue smaller tribes. You every tribe, the Zulu in South Africa, ANC uses the Zulu to win an election. There is no president in South Africa who wins an election without the Zulu. Because they have, out of the 66 constituencies, they have 32.
So taking from your words, do you think what Uhuru and Ruto did was right? For the only two tribes to get the win the elections?
For me, from a point of, if I were to stop a stone coming in Naivasha and Nakuru, I would give them marks as a conflict resolution expert. Because for the first time in the Kenyan history, since 1963, Nakuru, Naivasha, the Rift Valley has been a hotbed. Every election in Kenya, for the first time in Kenya, this election was held without a stone being thrown from one corner to the other. That's a credit. Whether you call it political or what, that is up to you Kenyans. But for us outside international experts who look at peace, who see where Somalia will cause a problem on Kenya if we destabilize Kenya at the moment. That's how I look at it. My long term of peace is looked at. Kenya is fighting the Al-Shabaab in Kismayo and in Somalia. To destabilize the leadership of Kenya today will cause a problem for IGAD and African Union and the UN. Is regional peace will be disrupted. People are not reasoning that way. We should reason in the context that the two tribes united. And we got a very peaceful election. In fact, you can sleep on the top of your car during the election is in Naivasha. Nobody could touch you. But if this were not again together, you would have seen what? It has been a hotbed of chaos for this country. So for me, that was a very good exercise that the two leaders came together.
Don't you think that the tribes are intimidated?
The intimidation is there, yes. And there is nothing wrong in intimidation in African politics. It does happen. And the chest bumping, it does. In Africa, just as in Europe, if you play on the demonstration, they beat you up. The police, they beat everybody. Labour Party, I've been a member of the Labour Party in Britain. But when we go on those door-to-door campaigning, you find some people even chasing you, a black man. Why are you here? Why are you campaigning for the Labour Party? They do. That intimidation is always there.
Honorable Raila Odinga did not win this election. He's a long-term politician.
A colleague of mine in liberation struggle. We have struggled together.
Exactly. And above the other two, Honorable Uhuru and the Deputy President William Ruto, he has more experience. Why do you think he lost? He
played he touched the nationalistic approach. You see,
Come back to English.
Or just nationalistic approach. When you tag, you say, you know, in Africa there is a saying, even if yours is bad, ugly, you don't beat it to kill. This is where the Kenyan election had a turning point. Towards this February,
yes,
the ODM, the code went offensive, using the ICC ticket.
Okay.
You have caused the problem.
So
there's a problem. There's a problem here. You already have the tyrant of numbers.
Yes, yes.
And they say, oh, is it ours who is bad? Even if your child is very bad and you see somebody beating him and killing him, you will come in to say, okay, he's bad, give it to me. That nationalistic approach made the TNA and URP, the Jubilee, win that election.
You said that some people are bringing their bodies to the campaigns,
yes,
and not the votes. Is that what Raila did?
Oh, yes.
Is that the people behind Raila just lied to him?
For example, if I were Prime Minister Raila, I would not have brought in Moses Wetangula. No, because he brought nothing on table. He failed his vote.
Western, they voted.
No.
They voted for CORD.
It's not because of God, of him. They voted because they just liked Raila Odinga. And the Jubilee was very technical. They saw the Western was nothing. They did not even count that vote. But what upset the whole voting pattern is the way the Marsabit, Garissa, those areas. It was a shock to even me, who was an observer, when I saw the Somali vote, which came from Northeastern.
Yes.
It all went for the Jubilee, most of it. That shocked even the code or parade strategists. I did not expect the whole of that to go. That's where Prime Minister felt he could get the...
Looking at Honorable Raila
Yes.
Odinga back in 2007,
yes,
with all the campaigns, and it was Raila all over. It was this enigmatic man,
yes,
this great politician that everybody wanted to be with. He had come out
he's
very strongly.
He's a good guy.
And then come and see 2013, 2012. What happened? What do you think happened?
He's a good guy, but he was flawed in strategy. He doesn't have good planners. You want me to speak frankly?
Tell him.
Yes, he doesn't have good planners. In political science, you don't plan the way they were planning. How do you remove agents in areas where, even if they are hostile areas, you leave agents, party agents there? Election, there is no election in Africa that will ever be free and fair. Which one? To show me. Show me one.
There's none. Where?
Except Kaunda.
Someone
who said, I have left, you want me. But all the elections in Africa, there is just chest pumping. The opposition will always say, no, we are cornered.
I happen to have read somewhere that Honorable Raila is just too clean for the African and the Kenyan politics.
Yes.
Politics is a dirty game.
Since
you either play dirty or you're out. Is that what you think?
I think so. Sincerely speaking, he's a very good nationalistic leader.
Okay.
But he has got very poor planners.
Okay.
That is one thing. If next time he wants to take on politics, let him have senior men, experts who are able to maneuver. These guys maneuvered. They had experts all over. Some of them were quiet experts. They gave advice. Yes. They actually committed themselves to their manifesto. But here we went on, because there was some feeling that the ICC factor will help.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
yes.
then the ICC factor turned, Mr. Olwech, turned against God. People said, so these guys want to take these guys? You know, Africans can cry today, but they forget very easily that yesterday it was a massive slaughter of people. If you bring it now, you can say, no, they died, but we are not going to go like that.
Yeah.
We are not going to follow. You see, that's why I am interested in this case of Kenya. Why is it that we are still looking for war criminals, Nazi war criminals, 70 years after the war is gone? Why are we rushing to take this one so quickly?
Let me ask you, concerning the same issue we are having right now, the ICC cases just going, there's so much drama.
Yes, it's
we
a
have
drama.
Witnesses falling out.
Yes.
we have just so much drama with Bensouda having
Yes.
a very hard time, at times wanting to complain to the government that the government is not supporting the ICC, yet we are signatory to the ICC.
Yes.
Where are we seeing the ICC cases going? Are we going to have...
do you know what? The way it goes, it is just punishing the two. People just want to politically punish Uhuru.
So at the end of the day, we're not going to have a case.
I've told you already. There is no death certificate, Mr. Olwege. How does a lawyer, a good lawyer like Griffins, who stood, you saw Griffins,
Yes, yes.
he asks you, my lordship, before we proceed, I want to see the death certificate report. So finished, you sit down.
So once it's done,
It's not there.
once it's done, Dr. David, what do we make of the 2007, 2008 election violence?
We are killing victims twice because of a bad investigation that was conducted by Mr. Luis Moreno Ocampo. That's why the AU is saying, no, there are two things. Article 53 of the AU of the Rome Statute of 1998 says, let listeners know, if the chief prosecutor is cornered, finds that whatever case is going to present ahead is not worth it, what do? Terminate. And then use another Article 83 or, yes, something, spring on it.
Yes.
The following morning. You see where the chief prosecutor now is helped by TJRC. They have now brought out the names.
Are they connected?
They have brought out the names that have been complaining all the time that the 20 names, why is it that they chose only this? Now, you can come back.
So we are having a clear connection between the names that were given to Kofi Annan back in 2007 and the names that are coming out right now at the TJRC.
Do you believe me or not? There are only 2 names missing in that list on TJRC. The rest are the same list. I investigated and got a copy.
How do you get this, Dr. David? How do you get
investigative journalism? You are a journalist yourself. Try it. It's a good subject. It's risky, but very good. I take risks, and I investigated. I saw the names. I knew when I saw Franklin Bett talking here.
Yes.
I say, but okay, fine. But
so when Franklin Bett was being attacked,
yes,
personally, as a person, he has not been very, his record has not been straight from the beginning. The times he served in the Moi government, and people did not want him to be the chairman of the TJRC.
Yes.
Were they seeing ahead?
Was it? It was a Bethel Kiplagat, is it?
Yeah, Bethel Kiplagat. Yes.
Bethel is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't like to editors of that nature to finish him here, but he is not a very good person when it comes to reality.
Okay.
I saw him in the Renamo liberation when he was negotiating the Mozambique.
Yes.
I know what happened there. I waited in Rome. We waited from 5 to 11 when we signed an agreement. So I wouldn't like to discuss that. But Bethel has come out clear. He has been a good civil servant.
Okay.
But some of these things do happen in government in machinery. Just as in Uganda, you could be in the leadership, but you don't know what is going on around you.
Yes.
So some of these things have happened like that. He's an old friend of mine whom I don't want to discuss beyond that. But the truth is that the TJRC of Kenya won't solve the problems of Kenya, because the TJRC of Kenya has no powers to compel somebody to arrive to court. The TJRC of South Africa is, they ask you, did you kill Stephen Biko?
Yes.
You said yes. I was the director of intelligence of South African intelligence apartheid. I killed Stephen Biko. So help me, forgive me.
So once
you go to court, you tell the court you are forgiven.
And it's all done.
It's all done. South Africa has moved from 1994 to today. But the TJRC I see here is something that has already collapsed. For example, let me ask you, in the whole report, where is the 1982 coup?
It has not been mentioned.
Where? Did you read it? Have you read the report?
I read part of it.
Show me my section.
I read part of it.
1982 coup was a very big...
We only have the Wagala massacre.
Yes,
we have the
1982 was a very big episode in Kenyan history. 1,000 people, soldiers, both sides, everywhere, they died here. How can such a report miss something like that? Don't you think there's something wrong with that report already? That's how reports collapse in Kenya. And not only Kenya, Africa, East
African
Africa,
countries.
Uganda, where reports die like that. We have made several in our own country. Some have never been published. But
never
this
seen
one
them, yes.
has got a problem. A peculiar problem is that 1982 coup was never mentioned.
Right.
Ochuka, Sergeant Ochuka's family, they deserve to know what happened.
And just the truth, now the question here we have, will they ever know the truth?
They can't know the
Because
truth.
once the names are there,
Yes.
there's already a problem with the report.
Already people are going to move to court to say, no, the report is not actual.
It's not right. It's not.
Yet, and another problem on your television, which I have to tell, Kenyans have become litigating state. You have become a litigating state, dangerous. Don't call everybody comrade, because you litigate over everything. Some things if your windscreen is broken, don't just exchange notes on the side and go. Don't say I'll take you to court tomorrow, because you waste a lot of time, of productive time.
Act. You're supposed to act.
You see, when the police stop you on Naivasha Road, they tell you report on Monday. It's a lot of time. You find a queue of 1 kilometer, everybody waiting to go in court. You have wasted your time. So let's find a way of dialogue, open dialogue. Some things you can dialogue, some things you can forgive.
Yes.
Let's have that forgiveness, because the first virtue of humanity is to learn to forgive.
When President Uhuru was asked to go public and asked for forgiveness for the other people who came, for his predecessors,
Yes.
out of that TGRC report,
Yes.
do you think all the other people accused in the same report should do the same?
I
Or
think
some
so.
of them should
I
go,
think so.
should have justice on them, they should go to court?
There are some serious issues like the Oko massacre, and some, those are the ones that were not properly investigated. Some will come up.
Okay.
Because Oko's family is still here. They needed to have answers of who killed Oko.
Yes.
And those are things that the law will take course. We have the DPP. The courts in Kenya are very good. My friend, Justice Mutunga,
Yes.
very well-learned, organized person.
Yes.
I have no problem with him when justice comes. And in fact, let me make it clear to you, when this court petition of ODA or CORD and Jubilee started, the first statement I watched on TV, I've told many friends, you know what I did? I just switched off the TV until the results were. I made one conclusion.
You knew?
Yeah, I know I made one conclusion. As a person who marks exam,
Yes.
the preamble of ODA, of CORD was the poorest preamble. You are asking the Supreme Court, and you are talking about malpractice in general elections. I don't give you a mark when I'm marking your exam. And when you have sharp judges like Wanjala, Dr. Wanjala, and who have marked people's exams, they fail you. You saw him asking, the core problem, what was it? Is it in that court? You don't go to that court to talk about malpractice in general election.
As you are putting it, Dr. David, it's like for Raila to come back to the political light, he has to do an overhaul,
holistic approach
in his political life.
Strategy.
Is he ready to do that after all the years he has spent in politics?
Raila is very popular with the people. And I want to be frank, he's my friend. I always tell him he's very popular, he's frank, he's well liked by people. But he has poor organizers.
So is he ready to work to change everything?
He has
overhaul.
You know, politics is like somebody who circumcises for us.
Yes.
You are always, your knife, you catch it. When you hear somebody's here, you want to go. Or somebody who slaughters animals.
Yes.
He has got that habit. Politics is like that. You can't say, I will not do it. Some of us have said we shall never go back to Uganda politics. But when you hear somebody being oppressed, you come in and write 1 or 2 articles. So politics is like that. He will come back. But he has got to do a strategy, an overhaul strategy, bring in new people, bring in new advice, listen to advice. You cannot leave a whole place without your agents. You assume they don't like you. No, how do you know? People were voting secret ballot.
Yes. Let me ask you this question quickly. We have the ICC case that the report that you wrote to the whole world concerning the ICC issue just the other day.
Yes.
You were saying how you are you accused of, according to the Article 70 of the Rome Statute, that of...
I tampered with a witness.
Yes, you tampered with the witness in Kenya.
Yes.
And intimidation and bribery.
Yes.
What do you think of that? Why did they have to choose on you? Why did they have to pick on you?
Because I did find this guy on Facebook. The witness was not protected. That's why the African Union is saying the whole office of the chief prosecutor, in the resolution yesterday, they said the entire office of the chief prosecutor must be investigated. They showed a job. 1,300 people have died in Kenya. Then you come to see sunshine, then you leave. You get cut and paste. They got flash discs from the Kenya Human Rights and put it there, from another NGO fixed it there. They didn't do a good job. I'm telling you. And two, if there are allegations in Europe, I live in Europe. Yeah. I've lived there 27 years. Yeah. If there are allegations of bribery, intimidation, killing of witnesses,
yes,
there must be an investigation.
Which one not?
Which one ICC has failed to do. The ICC as a court must now institute an independent investigation. Dr. Because flying of witnesses of accusation is coming from both sides.
Yes.
So there must be an investigation to find out where witnesses in Kenya tampered with, where witnesses harassed, coached, faked, because we know of witnesses who were coached only to go and say, I saw Ruto. Now, some are saying, no, I was told, given a plot, a land, a passport, and air travel to go to London. That's why I lied.
And according to your report, after they were not compensated their money,
yes,
they shifted gear.
They shifted gear. I know of certain witness in case number 2 of Uhuru Kenyatta who went to him and asked for 500 million.
Dr. David, apparently because of time, I guess we have to end it here. Yes. Your last words to Kenya people on this camera.
The Kenyan people have got to endure. They have just come out of an election, a peaceful election. They have got to put this back of their heads and know that there is a Kenya, a one Kenya. Live harmoniously. Elections are over, but we still have the issue of ICC.
Yes.
Of which the president and the deputy president have vowed to respect. But the odds are against them because it is a politically motivated international court against all norms of legal routes. There is no legal redress in this court. And I leave to Kenyans to weigh, do they want their president to be flown to The Hague, or do they want this case to be brought back here so that their courts can look into the matter, since there is complementarity status, which is part of the ICC treaty.
Thank you so much, Mr. David.
Yes.
And God bless you so much.
Yeah.
And wishing to invite you once again on People Talk Show.
Oh, yes. I will be all the time available.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Wow, that one marks the end of today's talk show that I really didn't know how to end it. I would want to talk to this man the whole day. Just want to know more and more and more. But that is what People Talk Show is all about. You've heard it for yourself. Make your own decision, make your own choice. So until next week, same time, same place, I have been your host, Kevin Oloch, and it's always People Talk Show. Take care of yourself.